Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. You have to forgive me, I'm currently waiting on my bed sheets to finish up in the wash, but here is the Nabalis Extrusion, a $45 trainer, all aluminum that Nabalis released sometime last year, I want to say, to moderate fanfare. I personally am still not a huge fan of the extrusion because of its weight distribution properties and how it flips. But the look was great. The different ways that they manufactured it was great. And you can't really argue, no matter how not great I think it flips, you can't really argue with that price point. And now Nabalis is back. If we head over here to my hobby bench, which right now is more Transformer land, we have two new sleek new boxes from Nabalis. They've changed their boxes. If you remember, it used to be a kind of bulkier black box with some texturing on it. Not texturing, with some printing decaling on it. It looks much sleeker now. It almost looks like I'm getting like a tech product, which is actually kind of cool. But I'm going to do something, which is my first impression videos on a lot of knives has gotten extraordinarily long a lot of the time. So I am going to unbox and maybe even begin flipping while we talk about, sorry, my Serif is probably the worst thing I could have picked to cut these things open. We're going to talk about the specs of this thing while I'm flipping it. Going to give me kind of a chance to form my thoughts a little heavier as well. But this is the Nabalis Extrusion 2, which they are now calling the Impulse. I have two here. Ooh, Nabalis has a new packing material as well. That is very, very soft. That's a really nice little microfiber pouch. It's a very, very soft microfiber pouch. And inside it comes in this little weird baggie. Okay. I know I said I just wanted to... Oh, no. Oh, does this come with the Vulp instructions? Okay, that's weird. I just dumped everything out. But this is a 3.5-ish ounce trainer, modeled after, you'll see in a second, the original extrusion, but with one big difference. The Impulse, while taking that same design language, is now a very typical steel blade with aluminum handles. On bushings for $35 to $40 to $45, depending on what colors you get. Silver is $36. Blue, purple, and red are $40, and then there's the fade colors. There's pink and blue, and then gold to black, which are $45, I think. But this is really exciting to me because this, besides the lightning being on washers, marks the first time that Nabalis has created a budget trainer on bushings with a very standard stainless steel blade and aluminum handles, which is ridiculously exciting because both of their original and previous budget options, the Canyon and the Extrusion, were fantastic, but were a little bit difficult to recommend because they don't have the weight distribution properties of a standard balisong. And wow, I'm a little, I don't know why I asked them for blue and then also the fade. Probably should have gotten red or purple here, but this like jean blue is really, really nice. Holy cow, this fade is beautiful. I chose to go, where's my microfiber cloth? Let me just find that really quick. I actually have no idea. Oh gosh. Okay, we're just going to use the pouch. I personally really love this kind of trans flag looking, happy Pride Month, by the way, happy June, trans flag looking cotton candy-esque fade. I think it looks beautiful. This blue to the pink is incredible. Let's see if the extrusion is improved over the original. The Impulse is improved over the extrusion. Oh my Oh my god, it absolutely is. Holy crap. This might be one of the best first impressions that I have had in recent memory to a balisong, and I haven't even been flipping it for more than 30 seconds yet. Oh my gosh. This is actually freaking incredible. So, while I'm flipping this and forming more thoughts besides just exclaiming about it, Why did I not really recommend the original extrusion and the original Canyon? It really came down to balance and weight distribution. The problem with the Canyon and the extrusion, and I want to clarify, this isn't a problem. As a budget balisong, those two were fantastic, almost unbeatable at that price point. But the problem comes when you recommend things to beginners. At least in my opinion. Actually, doesn't sound that bad. In my opinion, it's very difficult to recommend an all steel or all aluminum trainer to a beginner because this is a beginner's first impression into the hobby. With something like the Canyon or the original extrusion, it's going to have a very unique flipping profile because it is all one material. And it's a flipping profile you don't get anywhere else in the hobby. As such, if you recommend something like the Canyon to a beginner, they might get it, really, really like it, and then realize that there really aren't any upgrade paths. There's nothing that they can upgrade to that flips better, but that delivers that same weight distribution and that same feeling. And while that might not be an issue for some people, it might really drive away some others from the hobby. And so I've always been a fan of still offering that as an option if they really don't want to pay that much, but I always do recommend a standard steel and aluminum trainer to a beginner because that is far more representative of what the hobby offers as they climb in the price ranges. Sure, there's titanium and steel, which ultimately does flip a little different than aluminum and steel, but the thing is they will have aluminum and steel to upgrade to as an upgrade path. Whereas in all steel balisong, you have what? The Lucha? It's really all I can think of. And the Lucha, as far as I can really remember, is a downgrade from the Canyon in almost every way. So I really do prefer giving beginners an option that is fully representative of the kind of experience that they will have going forward, rather than something that still flips great and is still a good option, but ultimately is completely unique in its flipping profile. And I know a lot of people won't agree with that. That's fine, but that has been my sort of philosophy going forward. And the reason that the Impulse interests me so much is because it delivers that normal, and holy cow, can I just break in and say that this thing flips fucking incredibly for $40. Holy shit. Wow. I'm genuinely kind of speechless right now. The reason that this is so exciting to me is because beginners will finally have something that is representative of the balance and the weight distribution that the rest of the hobby offers for that cheap price point. I no longer have to recommend the Cheese or the Orion to people who don't want to spend that much to give them a fully representative beginner balisong. And sure, again, they could get the Canyon and the extrusion before and they would be fine. They're great balisongs, but they aren't 100% representative of everything else. The Impulse kind of is, because it's that steel and that aluminum feeling. Now, there is one noticeable difference between the Impulse and other aluminum balisongs, is that Nabalis has opted to go with 6063 aluminum here, and I really can't tell what the reasoning for that. The best theory that my YouTube chat and I were able to come up with was that maybe it was a cost thing, or it's easier to extrude. If you don't know what extrusion is, it's the machining process. Machining, not really, but it's the process that Nabalis uses to create the extrusion. It was the namesake of the original balisong. So maybe this 6063 aluminum is a little bit easier to extrude. I can't really tell. Best I can also tell from looking online, there isn't too much difference. There might be a difference in the hardness of it, in the durability of it. I feel like this might dent a little easier than 6061 does, but it also has a better finish to it. I don't know. If anyone can shed any light on that, I'm not a material engineer. That would be really appreciated. But let's talk about how this thing flips, because holy cow, have I had my chance to really kind of get a feel for this thing. And before we really dive into it, let me just get out something that's previously was like the pick. I guess I'll go with the Cheese since I don't see my Orion in there. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So right away, I mean, the cheese, a little more handle biased, a little more bulky. Probably going to be a better balance for a beginner because it's going to make those beginner tricks, chaplains, rollovers, stuff like that, a little bit easier. But the impulse is freaking incredible because it's really neutral and it's really round. It's also really light. I think 3.56 ounces approximately Nabalis has this weighted at. It also seems like there's weights in here. Are there weights included in the package? No. So I don't know the whole deal of that. Tune into the update video that I make on this thing, probably after Blade Show, to be honest with you guys, for what is the deal here. But everything else feels really solid. The handles, gosh, there's like a hair on it. Ew. The handles look very blocky, but they're actually quite thin and quite round. They feel really, really round. Fanning and choker fanning feels incredible on this thing, partially because of these machined handles. I don't even know if they're machined, but the grip on them is unexpectedly great. There's sort of like a milling pattern here inside the chamfers, and then the face, while being a little bit more rounded, has this kind of bump in the middle. So there's two ridges on either side. Kind of looks like a B if you look at it from the side here, to improve the grip. And the grip is great combined with the light flipping profile of this thing, because 3.5 ounces is quite light. It makes for an incredibly good balisong, or a fun flipping experience. Fanning is great. Choker fans are fantastic. They feel smooth. The handles rotate very cleanly in my hands. I'm able to maintain good grip on them. But it doesn't seem to sacrifice rollovers at all. In fact, I'm going to try and do a giraffe really quick, but this is the sort of thing I'm going to have to do off camera to really get it down. But I think this is a situation where you kind of get that amazing fanning performance without really sacrificing the rollover and chaplain performance. This thing chaplains very well, which the original extrusion did not. I would say it's an outer weighted balance, that meaning, or an outer weighted weight distribution, that meaning that the distribution of the weight feels like the weight is being pushed out to the outsides. I think I would also call that end weighted, not end weight. No, outer weighted. That's the, trying to remember the document that I created to kind of keep this straight for myself, but I'm pretty sure it's outer weighted. The weight is pushed towards the end of the handles and the tip of the blade. You can see because the blade kind of expands out here, a lot of the weight is focused there, especially with this thick line of steel going here. And then there's these weights at the end of the handles. I'm not sure if they're steel or what the case may be, but it's an incredibly well-balanced balisong. No obvious performance issues in any trick that I've done so far. Rollovers are sticky, but fans still feel amazing. This very well, first impression, so I'm not going to say anything too crazy. This very well could end up becoming not just the go-to recommendation for beginners, but my personal favorite of the beginner balisongs. I mean, even just comparing it to the cheese right here. Like, the cheese is still good. I still love the cheese, but when you bring in the fact that this is almost $20 cheaper, I feel like a lot of the competition just melts away in my mind. You just recommend the impulse. Wow. I am insanely impressed with this thing. Both of them feel the same, for anyone wondering. There's not any flipping differences these two have. It's literally just two different colors. And I really do prefer flipping the other one because I can really kind of barely see this one. It's a bit dark in my room. But wow, this is good. I know this is first impressions, but this is good. Holy cow, I'm kind of in awe. I haven't really had a balisong surprise me like this in a while. I think that's all you can really say about it. This is good. Wow. Even the jimping is pretty good. Did Nabalis just create the next big budget balisong? I think they did. I really think they did. Oh, I'm getting a little weird now. I think I just messed it up there. Failed wrist bump, but wow. All right, that's shocking. I'm going to go check this thing out a little bit more. Stay tuned for the follow-up video after I spend a little bit of time with this thing, kind of get my thoughts really refined, see if this thing really is the next thing in the beginner balisong space. But this is a really solid start to these first impressions. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. I want to thank Nabalis for sending these two out. I forgot to say it in the beginning, but these were sent out for free for the purpose of these videos. Any and all opinions presented in these are my own. They didn't tell me what to say in any way, and I am not financially affiliated with Nabalis in any way. But man, until the next one, boys, this is good. Wow. I'll see you later. Peace.